Word on the street is you're looking for a travel vlogger. I could just send you a boring resume and cover letter. You can get that too. But where's the fun in that? Let's take a trip and I'll show you what I can do. But first, coffee. I started my career in journalism as a sports anchor, reporter, writer, and editor. And I always loved the more meta ideas, honestly. I got to do some pretty fun spots, like this one where I challenged 2 NCAA championship distance runners to a sprint. And this one where I learned to throw hammer from a future Olympian.
You just have to push the ball.
Push the ball. Easier said than done. It's not easy to do.
Side note, she is a beast in the weight room. Ultimately, I wanted more creative outlet than traditional journalism could offer me. And I wanted to travel more. I studied international film in the Netherlands, and I worked on some pretty sick film projects, with some wacky experiences mixed in from my travel abroad too, which led to some fun content, like this series of promo videos from the Dutch folk band Rowanheza. It's got beer throwing, 2-stepping, cheerleaders, and an epic Rocky montage. They kind of let me run wild on set. Europe was a fun time, and I caught the bug, for travel and for content. Welcome to historic downtown St. Louis. I got the Mississippi listing lazily on my left and the city on my right. It's the gateway to the West, a historic center of Western colonial expansion, and the symbol, good or bad, of American ingenuity. And it's as good a place as any to talk about travel and content. We're here at the Missouri Botanical Gardens. It's a pretty iconic spot in St. Louis, and if you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend. Tired of the creative constraints of journalism, and honestly pretty frustrated with my career prospects, I decided to move far away. Like far, far away. The Far East. I moved to Korea, where I spent a year teaching English in rural Samcheonpo, and finding myself along the way. Cheesy as that sounds, it's true. Teaching in Korea gave me the time and, more importantly, the financial stability to think more about my career. Korea is where I started my podcast, Alone with Peter, which has turned into something totally different from its inception. A podcast for entrepreneurs, artists, digital nomads, and people seeking personal growth. Alone with Peter has been a creative playground for me, where I get to experiment with formats and talk to amazing guests. It's also where I fell in love with the intense freedom that comes with audio, and ultimately why I decided to start my voiceover business, Peter Kirsting Productions. Korea came with its share of travel shenanigans. Foodie trips to Busan, my romantic entanglement with a masseuse, and my 1-hour, $3 beard trim are just a few stories I picked up along the way. And while I wasn't able to capture everything on film, I was able to get some amazing footage and enough memories to make me realize I didn't want to stop anytime soon. The thing I love most about Peter Kirsting Productions is the location independence and the creativity that comes to the job. I'm a true solopreneur, which means I wear a lot of hats, like every hat. Content creator, marketer, salesman, I do it all. I know how to navigate the entire content cycle and how to have a good cry. COVID finally on the decline, I convinced my wife to move to Japan, where we made content like this and memories like these. Our time in Japan was cut short, but it hasn't been an end to my travels or my passion for helping others live and travel abroad. I've always seen myself as the Anthony Bourdain of coffee, travel, and culture. And as the content strategist for Sagebrush, I made talking head videos like this, Before a coffee crop can become your local brew, there are a number of stages that bean has to go through. And Q&A videos like these. Climate impacts coffee, just maybe not the way that you think.
So it's really like, when is it wet and when is it dry? And how does that impact the coffee crop?
All centered around the specialty coffee world. If you want to learn more about my background in sales and marketing, you'll find that in my resume, as well as links to the portfolio pieces I mentioned. But between my skills in marketing, content creation, ideation, on-camera work, and acting, I'm thrilled by the idea of working together. Thanks for taking the time to travel around St. Louis with me, and if you want to get in touch, you know how to find me.